So, hello everyone. This is our next lecture in the programming classes. So, this is general lecture. It will cover the topics which are used in both C++ and language C and sorry Java. So, what is the topic today? This is conditional, that is flow of control. Flow of control. So, what do you mean by flow of control? See, the program executes in a fashion like this. Like if you are suppose that this is line number one written, then line number two, three, four, and like this, 10 lines are there. So program flows from first line to last line. Okay, all right. So this is normal flow. But what if we want to control our flow? That if we want to just like that's sometimes there occur some conditions. You can also term these as conditional control statements. What? Conditional control, or you can say the statement of structures, conditional control structures. So in conditional control structure, the normal flow of execution of a program is altered. All right, it is altered by the programmer. Why? Because there is some need. So just first in this video, just take the knowledge of the theory, and in the next lecture I will take programs. So watch that carefully also. And if you have not watched the previous videos, then please watch that also. And if you have not subscribed the channel, then please subscribe to get the amazing content like this. All right. So now for this conditional control, that is if I say that I am running from one first to second, then third, then fourth, and then so on. All right. But if some condition occurs that I have to change the flow, that is from first line, and I have to directly jump to third line without by skipping the second one. All right. So how it is possible? It is possible with the conditional control structure. Okay. So basically, conditional control structure uses the which things. Okay, I'm just explaining to you. Just a second. Okay, so it is governed by using the decision making, or they are also known as if and else. All right, if and else. Okay, so what? See, to understand it, how we can understand, but now we can generate better understanding, and how we can get the else. So suppose in this example only, if I am running, if I am smoothly just executing the program, but somewhere I got a condition that if a certain condition, what are you getting? That if means that there has some condition occurred. So if some certain condition has occurred, then perform some action. So perform some action, and what is our action? Just to move from first to third line. All right, just skip these lines. Whatever it is written here, it will be skipped, and we will move towards to the third one, third line. All right. So this is what if do. And what is else? See, sometimes when we have to pass by conditions, such as if our if action, see, there are some conditions inside. I have told you, I have explained you a conditional operator. So they are used, or some anything can be used for the comparison, or you can say that to generate the condition. So if this condition is not successful, then we have two options: either we just skip this condition, or we can have alternate towards it. So that alternate is known as else. That alternate is known as else. So we can use else also. If we don't want to, anything after this, then we can just simply write it. So there are five ways how we can write the if and else, or you can say that the conditional control structure. Conditional control structure. See, just listen to my words. Don't go on this letters on the screen. Just I am writing it so that you can have your eyes on the screen. All right, so that you can pay attention here. Now, what are they? So first one is if statement. See, only single if statement. So in only single if statement, what is to be needed? If I take an example, just like in the question that I have given you previously, that to calculate what? That to calculate the area. All right. So if in that area, when you have calculated the area, all right, when you have calculated the area, then the area might be greater less than 10. Suppose I am assuming this condition and it is greater than 10 or it is less than 10. So when the area comes greater than 10, all right, then you have to print that. All right, and when area comes less than 10, then you don't have to print the output. Just calculated and it was dusted when the program stops. All right, it is not displayed on the screen. So how we can write? We can write only single if, and there will be certain condition, and then we will write whatever we want to execute. See what it is doing. Just think 3, 4, 5, 9 numbers. All right. So from first we came to second, but if we want to skip these lines, what is this if is used, and then we have skipped to this line number 5. Actually this is happening, but it is way to understand. Actually it is not happening, but see, then if there is condition and it becomes true, then this block will execute. Otherwise the program control will move to out of this. All right, and here if we want to print something else, we can print, or else we can whatever we want to print the statements we can print, or else anything we want to do we can do. All right, in this inside this, if this condition becomes true, then whatever operation we have to perform on becoming this condition true, we will perform. Okay, so this is simple. See, I will be giving you questions in the and I also explain you all these statements via questions in my next video, and this that will be separate for C and plus plus and also the Java. So please kindly watch both videos if you are learning both the programming languages. So what is our next control? If and only if. All right. So what is second? This is if and only if. That is, we are using only if statements like this. If there is a condition, there is a block to operate. If, that is, there is no else. See, there is no alternate. But what these if when we write these ifs in continuous form, what this means that if this condition, whatever it is written here, becomes true, then this block will execute. Also, when the program flow down, then don't think that if this becomes true, then these will not be executed. When there is uses if and only if, then all the ifs are checked, and if all the ifs satisfies the condition, then all the ifs gets executed. This is the main working of only if and only if, you can say. All right, it is just not like that. If you like in if else, that you put else here, then if this condition is not satisfied, then this will occur. Then but if both the conditions not satisfied, then no one. But in the if that there is logic that if all the conditions get satisfied, then all will execute. If two of the 3 out of 3 statements get qualified, then 2 will be printed. If no one is qualified, then no one will be executed. All right, printed or executed, you can say that in general word. Now third is what? It is simple if else. I have explained you that what is if else. See, if there is condition, all right, and if there is a block of code, okay, this is known as block of code to be executed. Then if this condition becomes false, then we can have something alternate. And what is that alternate? It is else. That if this does not follow, then execute this one. This is the main concept of else. Now third one is, now fourth one is if. All right, else if, sorry, not like this, I think I have done, yes, like this. If, else if, and then this block, and then else. So what does this represent? See, the control will come to here. The normal execution of program will encounter this if this condition becomes true. All right, then it will execute. And what I have told about you, that else is alternative. And when it is given with the else, then it means that the else part is also conditional, that else you have to do this block when this condition satisfied. Otherwise, then if this condition also not satisfied, then move towards this alternate. This is the last alternate. All right, like this you can use any number of else ifs. You can use if, then else if, then else if, then else if, but use else if, else if, else if you want other else, that is alternate conditions, to be conditional. All right, then lastly there is else. I think you have understood this. Now what is last part? How to represent the final, and how to represent this conditional control structure, that is nested if and with also else. See, certain many times the condition occurs. Suppose I take example, the similar one, that if area becomes, that is there are two conditions, area becomes greater than 10 and area becomes less than 10. Then in this condition also, if there can be two possibilities, that area becomes greater than 20 and also less than 20. All right, so less than 20 means that is greater than 10 but less than 20. So there can also be something happens. In this case also, some cases occurs that less than greater than 30, or this what, less than 30. So this is what actually doing. This is represent, this is going to one if. Then inside that, if it is applying another if, then inside that it is applying another if, which means how we can write it as, if we can write it as, if there is a condition, then again inside that statement there is again if, that is condition. Inside that there must, and there can be another condition. It depends on the logics. All right, then this will end, and again also, and now this if ends, and this there is if there is. So these are nested. Nested means one inside another, one inside another, inside another. It is else. It is what, nested. Okay, I think you have understood this. Now, what about nested else if else statement? So, if else what? If, then else, or we can also write it as if, else if, and else. All right. So, similarly, we can write for that also. If there is condition, and if we write inside the state block, if we write another if statement or conditional inside the block, then it is known as nested one. So when this one, then else, if there is condition, there are condition, then if inside that if, else if there is if, and also there is else if, and this is what nested means, one inside another, one inside another. This is what if else if, nested if statements with if else if. All right, so these are 5 kinds of conditional flow. There is another concept for conditional control structure, that is the use of what, that is the use of switch case. Switch case, what is switch case? See, like in the if statement, if, all right, uh, the if statement, what we are doing, if this condition becomes true, then execute this. If this condition becomes true, then execute this. So instead of writing too many if statements, we can write switch case. So switch is what? Switch will trigger that there is some condition occurred. All right. So when this condition has occurred, what we can do, we can just uh, we can just do that when a condition triggers, then we can check that for which condition it can hold true. All right. See, there was some error, I think. Let me explain again. See, what is switch statement is used for? There is a switch. First learn the structure of switch statement. See, there is switch, there is control variable resides here, control variable. Then what it has some cases, case like in if nested if sorry, not nested one, but in if and only if statements, like it has like in the if and only if conditions, it has multiple if statements. So the control is flowing like this. If this becomes true, then it will execute, then this will become true, then it will execute. All right. Similarly, in the switch case, there is conditional variable, and in the case there are conditions given. What are the case? Suppose if I take that, if I say that there are five numbers. All right. If one occurs, then what can be said, that there are five players. All right. And there are five numbers. So if one occurs, then one will go for player one will play. If two occurs, then player two, then three for three. Similarly for all the five ones. All right. So we can write it as such as case, and then we can case number, or see here we can use numbers or anything. It depends on the data types. So this is why data learning of data types, or the understanding of data types, is very important. Please kindly watch that video also. If you have not watched, I am continuously saying that watch that video and watch that video, because I want that you get a better understanding. Because if you enjoy this series like a movie, then only you can uh, clarify your concept, or you can say that you can learn in a better way. So please, now what to do is, suppose that when case 5 occurs, then use colon and write and see, don't use the again curly braces, because how many statements are given when a case occurs, then all these are executed under that case, and when another case is occurred, then in that case is used. The benefit of using case is that the control will move towards the case which is true. All right. But see, this is normal execution also. All right. Then there is default statement here. Default statement. How this default statement? Default. Simply just write default, use colon, like case, use default. Default is what? When none of the cases becomes true, none case becomes true, then that default will be executed. It totally depends on the programming logic. When you will do programs, you will get better understanding. But for now, just memorize these things, or just understand these things. All right. So now this is default, and also default also don't use this curly braces. All right. Then this switch case ends. See, suppose uh, just like I said, there is 5 4, then dot, then 2, then 3, sorry, then 3, then 2, then 1. All right, these cases occurs. Suppose I got encountered 4, so I have the condition 4. All right, it got true. All right, then what switch case do? If this case becomes true, then it takes other cases like case for case 3, case 2, case 1. It takes the other cases as the simple statement. So to terminate this, what we can do, what we do, we apply a break statement. See, this break statement is also depends upon the logic of code, because sometimes it is needed that you want to execute 2 or 3 cases simultaneously, or how many number of cases according to the logic. So for in general you can use break statement. See, break statement do what? It terminates the conditional flow. All right. And what is the conditional flow? Switch. So it will take out the control whenever it encounters breaks. It encounters break whenever some case it becomes true, and inside that case that break statement will be written. So whenever the case is encountered, then this break statement will encounter, and what control will do? It will take out of this switch statement. This is end of switch. All right. And this is control. Okay, I think you have got all these logics. So please, there is no assignment in this lecture, but please share this video, and please subscribe to the channel, and also like this video. All right. Thank you, class. This is all for this lecture.